They said the seventh son was born with sight, not eyes for ghosts, eyes for patterns. He could see the wound before it became a law, the silence before it became a family name. Seven portraits hanging in a narrow hall. Seven men taught never to admit they could fall. First wore anger like a medal on his chest. Second worked to the grave and called exhaustion rest. Third drank fire just to quiet what he knew. Fourth left home before the old fear followed through. Fifth made jokes whenever sorrow entered in. Sixth became a wall no living hand could get within. Then the seventh came quiet with a storm behind his eyes. Born beneath the weight of all their unfinished lives. Every room had rules nobody dared explain. Every smile looked polished, every floorboard knew the pain. His father said, be harder, this world eats the weak. But the boy heard all the words his father could not speak. He saw grief behind the orders, fear beneath command. A trembling child still hiding in the grown man's hand.
Seventh son, seventh flame, born beneath an ancient name. Not to carry every chain, not to bleed the same old pain. Seventh son, turn and see, what was past is not decree. You were not born to become every shadow you came from.
At 17, he found a box beneath the stairs, letters never sent, photographs of vacant stairs. One was from his father at the age of 23. I ain't scared, I'll be the man my father was to me. The page shook in his fingers though the room stood still. Truth had found a doorway through an abandoned will. The tyrant in his memory became a frightened son, and the war inside the bloodline had not started with just one. He read names like gravestones, promises like rust, meant confusing domination with protection, fear with trust. Every generation swore the next would understand and handed down the wound with a blessing in the hand. He wanted to forgive them, wanted someone he could blame, wanted clean-cut villains he could sentence by their name. But mercy without truth is another painted cell, and rage without direction only rings the family bell. So we carried every letter to the river before dawn, not to burn the past away or pretend the past was gone. He read each one aloud until the silence lost its throne, and said, I can love where I came from without becoming what I've known.
Seventh son, seventh flame, born beneath an ancient name. Not to carry every chain, not to bleed the same old pain. Seventh son, turn and see, what was past is not decree. You were not born to become every shadow you came from.
Inheritance is not only money, land, eyes, or bone. Sometimes it is a sentence nobody remembers writing. Sometimes the family calls it tradition, because nobody survived long enough to call it fear. But the moment one person sees the pattern, fate loses its skies. Years later, when his own son stood taller at the door, he felt the ancient language rising from the floor. Do not question, do not weaken, do not speak about the ache. Every phrase his fathers used was waiting in a shape. He could feel them in his heartbeat, seven shadows in a line. All the dead demanded one more, echoed through his spine. Then his son said, I am hurting, and the old world held his breath. This was where a living pattern either changed or met his death. He did not say, be stronger. He did not turn away. He sat beside the trembling boy and let him have his say. No sermon, no correction, no demand to understand. Just the father breaking centuries by holding out his hand. He said, you do not owe me silence, you do not owe me fear. You never have to disappear to prove that you belong here. I will fail, but I will listen, I will learn what I's not shown. You were not the cure for what I carry, you are a life that is your own. And somewhere in that hallway, every portrait seemed to change. Not redeemed by one soft moment, not absolved of all the pain, but the chain lost one more link, then the future gained the door. The seventh son became the first to hand the wound no more.
Seventh son, seventh flame,
had more than grief and shame.
keep the wisdom, drop the chain.
Let the blood remember rain.
Seventh son,
Now become
not the end,
but morning's drum.
you were never chosen by
The darkness in your family line.
You were chosen when you saw, when you questioned every law, when you held your child and swore.
This ends here, it goes no more. The seventh son was not born free. He became free the moment he understood that inheritance was an invitation, not a command.